Here I'm going to walk you through how I'm turning one of my closed forms into a lidded jar. So I'm starting by adding a knob, and I did that by just taking a round piece of clay, as you saw in a couple videos, a couple posts back, and just throwing that on. The closed form is leather hard at this point, and obviously that clay is plastic. So at some point here, I'm wanting to harden it up. So I'm just using the torch to dry the clay out a little bit so that I can work with it better. I can't remember why I cut that top off, probably just because I thought it was too tall. So then I'm just trimming this down here. So then I really like using a metal rib, one just to get the surface nice and smooth, but then I also burnish my pieces with the metal rib because these are going to be smoke fired and they will not have glaze on them. So I like them to be really nice and smooth. One of the things that I forgot to do when I was throwing these closed forms was to put a little notch in where the lid will be separated from the base. If you push in a little notch, then when you cut the lid off, there's already a flange there, and I completely forgot to put that notch in. So what I'm gonna have to do is create a flange, and luckily there's enough thickness in the walls here to do that. So here I'm just cleaning the inside. The inside is sort of really messy because I'm not great yet at closing the form off, so there's just a lot of bumps and unevenness in there, so I want to get that even. So initially I started to make a flange, and then I think it broke off. I was messing around with that, and then I decided to just make a gallery instead on the inside, and you'll see here, I'll start that in a second after I trim this wall. So I'm just sort of measuring to see where I need to start the gallery. And so then I'm just, you see, I'm just trimming down a little bit on the inside of the wall to create the gallery. So then the lid will just sit inside that. And then I'm adding some more chattering on the bottom, and that tool, I think he calls it an L1, or maybe it's just number one. is great for chattering. It's also a super, super sharp trimming tool, which I love. And I've really gotten to love this tool for finishing the bottoms when I'm throwing something, to trimming, the bottoms before you wire cut the pot off. Oh, and then this is also a great tool for burnishing. It's a slider that you put on the bottom of furniture legs. I initially tried using my Giffen grip to hold this, but something's wrong with my Giffen grip. I have to send it back. I don't know. I can never get it to hold things evenly. So then this is just like a homemade sticky bat that I made with sticky tape that you put underneath carpets to keep the carpets from sliding. And so I just use that to hold this. As long as you have something that's not super tall, it's a little wider at the base, you can use a sticky bat. Trimming is probably my most favorite activity of pottery. It is just so satisfying to me. I also have to give a shout out to Michelle Wen. She makes incredible instructional videos on how to transform these closed forms into lidded forms. So thank you so much to Michelle. Going in again with my metal rib to really get a nice smooth surface, and then I can burnish it up. And there you have the finished piece right there. It's a little wobbly and wonky. The knob isn't perfect.